Hi guys, welcome back to the Food Therapy Kitchen. Today I'll be sharing with you all my recipe for my fresh green seasoning. Someone asked me about it recently, and while I do have a detailed recipe listed on my website, terisfoodtherapy.com, I thought maybe I'd share a more detailed video with you all with regards to making my fresh green seasoning. So that's what we'll be doing today. Before I go any further, let me remind you guys to like and subscribe for more great food therapy videos. And when it comes to green seasoning, I just want to say that this is the foundation of many a great recipe in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Caribbean, although the way we make it may vary from island to island or even home to home here in Trinidad and Tobago. So the recipe that I'm sharing with you all today is of course my recipe, and it's really simple, but this is one of the best marinades you'll get when it comes to marinating your meats, when it comes to marinating your fish, when it comes to marinating even your vegetables. So of course, without further ado, let's get into the recipe. Alright, so it's time to break down the ingredients so that I can process it in my food processor. You can also do this in a blender, but I really prefer like a chunkier texture when it comes to my green seasoning, so I use my food processor for that. And I'm going to start off by cutting up, rough chopping some of my pimentos, and I'll tell you why I use colors that I'm choosing for the pimentos. I really like a lot of color with my food. I love pops of color. So when I choose my pimentos, I prefer to choose a lot more red and orange than green, because we already have so much green from the herbs. I find that you get a nice blend of color when you use more red and orange. But I prefer red, to be quite honest, more red. So then I add 1.5 cups of water to my food processor. I'm starting with 1. But then I'll add another 1/2 cup just before I finish, and I just start adding stuff. So moving on from my pimentos, I'm also breaking down my other seasonings. So there you could see me chopping up my fine thyme. I move on to my big leaf thyme or pudina, and I have my garlic already peeled and in the bowl, so I'm just going to toss that into the food processor as well. Here I'm also chopping up my chive. One thing you want to ensure is that all of your herbs and your seasonings are washed really well to remove any of the dirt that would have still been on them after they were picked. I then chop up my ginger, and as you can see, I left the skin on my ginger. For me, the skin is really thin, so it's fine, but you can always peel it with a spoon if you prefer not to have the skin on. And then I chop up my bandana or shadow benny, and I'm gonna start breaking down the first set of the green seasoning. Once most of it is broken down, I'm then gonna just add the rest, add the remaining water to help break it down further, and then that's basically it. As I said, I love a chunky texture, but if you would like maybe a smoother paste or kind of like a sauce-like texture, you can do it in the blender and you will get a finer ground. So here I'm just showing you what it looks like after I finish breaking it down, and I have to tell you, the smell is absolutely heavenly. It smells so good. It smells like the start of a very good meal. And there you have it, guys. Fresh homemade green seasoning. It's so amazing when you use it to marinate your meats and your veggies and your fish, as I said before. And what I would typically do is I make a relatively decent sized batch. This batch I'm going to put in the freezer, so I put it into smaller containers and I store it in the freezer, and I would thaw it out and use it as I need to. And this batch is the batch that I would normally keep in my fridge, and it can last really long, as far as my batch normally lasts about a week, maybe a little bit more than a week. I do have all of the details for this listed on my website, as I said, terisfoodtherapy.com. You can find that information linked in my YouTube information, so you can go ahead and check that out. As I said, it's very easy and absolutely delicious for all your Trini meals that you'll be cooking. I'll show you all some of the dishes that I used my green seasoning in at the end of this video, just to give you a little idea of what I would typically use my green seasoning for. And I hope you guys stick around for more amazing videos. Thanks so much for checking this one out, and of course, until next time, guys, bye.